What's up, guys? Not here from godlikeproductions.com, and I've got some Gematria and numerological connections to share with you between JD Vance and the Pope. So JD Vance met the Pope 104 days from his 41st birthday. JD equals 14. Pope murdered equals 140. The Pope died 13 hours after meeting Vance. From Pope's death to Vance's birthday, 103 days. The Conclave movie about the death of the Pope and the process of choosing a new Pope was released on 30/8. That's how they write 8/30, August 30, in Rome. Death equals 38 in simple gematria. Conclave was released on the 243rd day. It was premiered on the 243rd day of the year. Pope killed equals 243. Pope died 234 days from that movie's premiere on 38. JD Vance killed Pope Francis equals 234. That's also 33 weeks and 3 days from 30/8 to the Pope's death on the 111th day of the year, 421. It's 23 weeks and 4 days from Conclave to Pi Day, which was the total lunar eclipse, which is a big day in the elite occult ritualism. And from Pi Day to the Pope's death was 38 days, and again, death equals 38. JD Vance's birthday is August 2nd, 8/2, which is 28 days from the release date of Conclave. So in Rome, they would write his birthday as 2/8, and that's 28 days from August 30th. Vance's birthday is the 214th day of the year. Pope died 21/4, April 21st. Pope was hospitalized on February 14th, 214 as we would write it. That was the same day Vance gave a hugely important speech in Europe at the Munich Security Conference, which I did the decoding of in a video previously posted because it was the 45th day, and that's a big number for them. And so on 214, Vance gave his huge speech calling out the powers that be, basically declaring war kind of on their way of doing things. It was a pivotal day because that was the day that they realized that America is not going to support the European way anymore. That's when they started phasing Europe out of peace talks with Ukraine and Russia and all that. So the Pope was hospitalized that day on 214, February 14th. And then he died on 421. And Vance's birthday is the 214th day of the year. Now, Vance was announced as vice president candidate, as Trump's vice president candidate last year in 2024 on July 15th. And July 15th to 2/14, Vance's beautiful speech giving power to the people was 214 days. That's 214 days from the announcement of JD Vance as vice president to 2/14, where Vance gave his power to the people speech. And I'll get back to that. And to refresh of what I said in the previous decoding of that day, 2/14, Vance's big day speech was not 197 days after his birthday. 197 is the 45th prime number, and 2/14 was the 45th day of the year. And Pope Francis was hospitalized from 2/14 to 3/22. 3/22 is the skull and crossbones number. Skull and crossbones equals 223, but more importantly, 3/22 is a number that the Skull and Crossbones Secret Society uses outright, and they themselves use that number in their emblem or whatever to represent themselves with. And last year in 2024 on 3/22, Skull and Crossbones Day, 3 big events happened that year. There was a sacrifice event that killed 145 people in Russia and injured 551 at the Crocus Theater in near Moscow. And they always have a big sacrifice event in the spring. This year was 4/8, the jet set roof collapse sacrifice, which I will make a video decode on, which has everything to do with a lot of things that happened that first week of April. It was a hell portal opening ritual, and I can't wait to tell you guys all about that one. But anyway, last year, 3/22, was also the day that Putin officially declared Russia as being in a state of war. And it was also the day that Kate Middleton was announced as having cancer. So Pope Francis was hospitalized from 2/14 to 3/22. That's 36 days. 36 represents 666 because 666 is the 36th triangular number, and 36 represents 666 because it's 3 times 6, 3 sixes. And 6 times 6 is 36, and 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. And like I said, on 2/16, 2 days after 2/14, Trump ushered in the Daytona 500, where a car called the Beast drove, which was the 45th car. And 45 is the true number of the Beast. Anyway, back to what's important about the Pope's day. Oh, not to mention, the 45th day of the year, 2/14, was 45 weeks from 4/5 last year, which is when they released The Beast. And Monkey Man has 666 Gematria value. Okay. This is important because Monkey Man was about India, and JD Vance, after the Pope's death, went to India, which I'll get to in a second. Pope Killer equals 119. JD Vance's real name is Donald James Donald Bowman. Donald equals 119. His new name, his chosen name, is James David, which equals 88, the age of the Pope at his death. James equals 288. JD Bowman equals 82. Like his birthday, and like 8 times 2 is 88. Or 16, but whatever. You get it. Okay. Murdered Pope equals 840. Pope died on 421. 4 times 21 is 84. James equals 48. Pope death equals 540. Vance equals 45. JD Vance killed the Pope equals 197. Remember, 197 is the 45th prime number, and it was the day 214 Pope got hospitalized was 197 days after JD Vance's birthday. So here's a really big thing. Pope died 421. 421 is the 82nd prime number. 82 is JD Vance's birthday. So the day after Vance killed the Pope, well, on 422, the day after the Pope died, JD Vance went to India, and he spoke to the Prime Minister, and then he gave a big speech, just like the speech he gave on 214 in Germany. But this speech, it was more empowering the people sort of thing. It wasn't like calling out the powers that be, as you're doing a shitty job like he did in Europe, but it was still the same vibe as so far as it gave power to the people and empowered the concept of togetherness, which is their huge keyword, together, and unity as a people. He said at the very end of the speech to the Indian people, he said, "Let's do it together." And simultaneously as he is giving that speech, at least within an hour, the big false flag terror attack happened in India, where supposedly a bunch of Pakistanis killed 26 Indians, 26 Hindi people, up in northern India. But most of the news, they leave out the one Pakistani that died, who supposedly was trying to save people. But anyway, the news is always plastering everywhere. 26 people died. Well, JD Vance's speech, as that attack was happening, JD Vance's speech was 26 minutes long. Let's do it together. Like I said, he said at the very end equals 202. 22 is the master builder number. That's what he's doing. He's building the foundation for the new world. And that movie Monkey Man that came out on 4 or 5 last year was set in India, and it was about an Indian dude getting revenge on these mafioso sort of people who killed his mom as a kid, and he basically releases the beast on the corrupt government, the corrupt powers. So this year Conclave starts on 5/7. And remember, JD Vance was announced as vice presidential candidate on 7/15 last year. 5/7 is 4,440 days from the day the Pope was inducted as the Pope on 3/11/2013. 444 is important. It's a big number, but they like to use it. It represents Lucifer, and Jesus Christ, I think, is 444. Occult is 444. Jesus and Lucifer are both 444. Energy is 444. Killing is 444. Alright, but anyway. So if they elect the new Pope on 5/11, which is the day they also reveal the body of a Saint Teresa, and they announced they were going to reveal her body on 5/11 on 3/11, which is again the day the Pope got inducted in 2013. But this year on 3/11, they said they were going to reveal the body of Saint Teresa of Avila on 5/11. 5/11 will be 4,444 days from Pope Francis's induction as Pope. So, the movie made about JD Vance's life called Hillbilly Elegy, which was based on the book that he supposedly wrote. From that movie, the release date, 11/24/2020, to the Pope's death is 4 years, 4 months, and 4 weeks. Exactly. In the movie, they show Vance as a kid celebrating Easter. And Easter morning, 4/21, is when the Pope died. From the limited release of the movie on 11/11/2020, which, by the way, 11/11/2020, come on. From the release of that movie that day to the day Trump was announced as VP on 7/15 was 44 months and 4 days. 7/15 in 2024 was a leap year, was the 197th day of the year. And again, there's that number 197, the 45th prime number. And again, 7/15, JD Vance's announcement as VP to 2/14, JD's big speech and the Pope's hospitalization was 214 days to 2/14, the 45th day of the year. From 7/15 to the Pope's death, 4/21, was 280 days. Remember, Vance's birthday is 8/2, or 2/8 in Rome. From 7/15 to 4/20, the meeting Vance had with the Pope was 9 months and 5 days. JD Vance equals 95. From 7/15 to 4/21 was also 9 months and 6 days. And from Trump's inauguration, 1/20, to the Pope's death was 96 days. 96 represents the lunar realm of the first layer of hell, according to elite occultists like Samuel Onweor or Gurdjieff. James David Vance equals 2193. There was 1329 days from 11/24 Hillbilly Elegy release date to 7/15 VP announcement. So that's James David Vance's 2193, and that's 1329 days from his movie to his announcement as his VP. In the movie, it shows him clocking out at work at 2:08. That is his birthday again, 8/2. And then it shows him looking at a bill for 21,390 days, the same number as his name again, 2139, just like James David Vance, 2193. That's his bill for college that semester. Vance equals 45 again, and Usha's phone number in the movie 8 times 5 times 5 times 5. It's 800 555 0533. When you do that, 8 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 3 times 3, you get 45,000. That's Vance, 45. And in the very opening sequence in the hills of West Virginia, wherever the heck he's from, it shows two addresses next to each other. It's 450 is the first one. 452 is the second. Three different license plates in the movie. The letter parts of those license plates add up to 45. Well, 2 of them add to 45. The third one adds to 54. Same thing. One of them, the letter part, well, I'll just say it's 174 times 80, and that's 13,920. The numbers of his full name again. There is a family photo in the beginning. It shows someone wearing a jersey with a 33 on it. He's in a classroom doing a math test. The classroom's number is A117 with a phrase right next to it on the wall. It says, "Math is hard, so is life," which equals 1170. And then it goes to show his room. And there's a poster on his room that says Testament. Testament also equals 117. Both the Ohio address and his mom's apartment towards the end of the movie, are 108. Well, the Ohio address is 108. The mom's apartment is 180. And another license plate, the letters add up to 18/108 in simple and English gematria. So the Pope died 96 days from 7/26, July 26th. Remember, the next Pope is going to be the 267th Pope. So the Pope died 96 days from 26/7. That's also 156 days from the Pope's death to 24/9, September 24th, which is the 267th day of the year. And America is turning 249 years old this year on July 4th. And you know how that was 156 days from the Pope's death to 24/9? Well, 9/11 is the 156 prime number. And July 4th equals 156 in simple gematria. And from the Pope's death to July 4th is 74 days. That's 74 days from the Pope's death to 7-4. Other numbers that equal 156 are 923 spelled out, 666 spelled out, and 33 spelled out. All equal 156 separately. And again, the 156 prime is 9/11. And it was 156 days from September 24th, 24/9, from the Pope's death. Poison handshake equals 159. Mass shooting, the thing that happened the next day with Pope in India, equals 159. The amount of people who died in that mass shooting, they were saying, is 26, which equals, spelled out, 159. Pope died at 88. There are 88 constellations. Constellation equals 159. 714 equals 159, spelled out. Pope killer equals 714. That same day as the Pope's death, the second episode of the second season of The Last of Us came out at 9 o'clock at night, where the main character dies, okay? And his name is Joel Miller. Joel Miller equals 666. The Pope's real name, Jorge Mario, his first and middle name, both equal together 666. He died the same day as Joel Miller in the show. Main characters never die. And then the main character with the same gematria value, 666 nonetheless, as the Pope, both die on the same day. Okay. Let's see. Pretty much done. All right, if I come out with any more, I'll let you guys know. Seek clarity with love.